Yellowknife is located in the Canadian Arctic region and is the capital of the Northwest Territories. Its precise location is 60 degrees and 72 minutes north and 135 degrees west. It is 703 meters above sea level. This is a climate graph of Whitehorse. The average annual temperature is negative 0.7 degrees, the temperature range is 32.4 degrees, and the total precipitation is 264.8 millimeters. From this information, I can conclude that the climate of Whitehorse is cold and dry. The fact that the average temperature is only negative 0.7 degrees and that the lowest temperature is negative 18.4 degrees suggests a cold climate. The low total precipitation of 264.8 millimeters that Whitehorse receives shows evidence of a dry climate. Relief is a climate factor that affects Whitehorse's climate. How? Whitehorse is in the rain shadow of the St. Elias Mountains. A rain shadow is the leeward side of a mountain, shown in red arrows, that acts as a barrier to precipitation to places located on that side. Due to this, Whitehorse is protected from precipitation and the climate is dry. Also, cold winds from the Arctic come towards the Whitehorse area. The mountains block most of it, so although Whitehorse has a cold climate, it is slightly warmer than other northern areas. Prince Edward Island produces the most potatoes in Canada, accounting for 25%. Why? PEI is famous for its red soil, accounting for 470,000 acres of land. This soil gets its color from iron oxides, making it very fertile and suitable for farming potatoes. Manitoba is also a major producer of potatoes and produces 20% of Canada's potatoes. This is due to the availability of irrigated land and lengthy growing season. The greenhouse gas footprint of the beef industry is due mainly to the production of methane. This methane is emitted by the cattle that are raised for the beef industry and is a natural byproduct of feed digestion. However, methane has 25 times more potential planet warming power than CO2. Combined with the loss of forests due to land needed for grazing, this can contribute to a large amount of greenhouse gases not only being produced, but also not being able to be removed from the air. In fact, livestock production in all is responsible for about 15% of global greenhouse gases, more than all planes, trains, and cars together. These greenhouse gases warm Canada by getting trapped in the atmosphere and reflecting heat back to Earth. The Canadian Forest Service is a federal forest agency that has been running since 1899. Their mandate is that they will conduct scientific research on Canada's forests and use that information to better them. However, did they succeed in meeting it? The Canadian Forest Service has 5 forestry research centres. These centres conduct various research activities, such as research around forest disease, invasive species, and many other topics, and are leaders in global forest research. Shown here is a picture of one of them, the Atlantic Forestry Centre, located in New Brunswick. The Canadian Forest Service maintains 2 national research forests that have been running for over 100 years, the Acadia and Petawawa Research Forests. These forests are live forests that are experimented and studied on in order to provide scientific data, and have continually succeeded in creating new technologies. Shown here is a picture of the Petawawa Forest, located near Algonquin Park, Ontario. Due to this, I can conclude that yes, the service has met their mandate. Not only do they have many research facilities, these facilities are also successful at finding new information that betters Canada's forests. A problem that Canada has related to population is the low birth rate. Today, natural increase accounts for less than 1/3 of Canada's population growth and has ceased to be a major player in the equation. As can be seen in the graph, fertility rates have significantly gone down. Immigration is now the major factor of Canada's population growth. Migratory increase could account for more than 80% of Canada's population growth beginning in 2031. As can be seen in the graph, the growth rate due to migratory increase, light blue, has overtaken natural increase, dark blue. So what's the problem with depending on immigration? Statistics Canada projects that immigration will not only continue to be a key driver of population growth, without it, Canada's population growth could be close to 0 in 20 years. The problem with these low fertility rates is if less people are being born every year, our population now depends upon immigration. If this declines, our population will decrease. So how can the government make people have more children? Many people don't want to have kids due to the high cost of raising one, mainly daycare, the costs of which have risen in the past years. To address this issue, the government needs to firstly lower daycare costs by providing funding to licensed daycares. Secondly, incentives by the government should occur. For example, if families have 2 kids or more, a tax reduction will be given. Canada gets many immigrants from Syria every year. A push factor that causes people from Syria to leave their country is the Syrian civil war. This brutal war has made many parts of Syria unsafe to live in. A challenge Canada has to address by allowing immigrants from Syria in is accommodating and providing necessary services like healthcare to them. This can be solved by allocating more resources. A population issue Canada addresses by allowing immigrants from Syria to come in is the low birth rate. These immigrants help replace people that are not being born due to low fertility rates and helps Canada's population increase.